This is Angelina, and I would like to say thank you once again for attending the Smada World Opportunity Webinar. Today we're offering by Next Level Africa. Today's webinar is going to be a bit more of an informational talk for you. And as usual, we'll be having the Q&A at the end, so please stay tuned and prepare your questions till that time. I'd like to welcome everyone who is joining us from the various parts of the globe again. We've got so many people from many time zones and many places. Australia, the US, Canada, Spain, France, the UK, and I don't think I missed anyone. Welcome. It gives me great pleasure at the moment to introduce to you our presenter for today, Mr. Noel Adams, the founder of Next Level Africa and the leader of the Smada team. Welcome, Noel.
Thanks, Angelina, and welcome everybody to the webinar. We're just going to cover a little bit of housekeeping that's going on here because I thought I'd try and bring you up to speed with where we're at. This has been a short week because of some of the global holiday that goes on. I think in the UK they call it May Day, but I think it's called other things in other parts of the world. So there's been a little bit of a time delay on getting hold of a few people out there. But nevertheless, it's been a productive week, even though you probably can't see some of the things you'd like to see happening there, but it has been a productive week. I'll start off with the exchange, just so that we can get on an understanding of what's happening with that. What's happened is that the bank have instructed the UK support team, the technical team there, to get on a plane, which they have done now, and they've either landed or about to land in Los Angeles to work with the team in Los Angeles, because they want to make sure that there's no further delay. The bank have had enough, and so they've given them an ultimatum to get this thing completed. So they want them all together, sitting in the one room, so it's sorted out. You may see that on Global Exchange there's a different message there now, because they had to load a server up that crashed. The hard drive crashed on it, so that, and then they had to put what they call a DNS, a redirection to it, which took about 48 hours to propagate. And so the message on there now, look, I'm not looking at the message, it just mentions something about the coin exchanges mentioned in there to reference to it, because both exchanges are really run by the same internals on there. So that's what's happened, is that the team have gone over there. Now, the expected date, and I want to try and open this up because a lot of times out there, if I make statements on times, it comes back to me, and I want to make sure that this is not all about me hyping up things out there. It's trying to give you the information, and bearing in mind it's coming from different programming groups, and some of them are having issues. That's why they're getting them all together. But the bank have asked them to have it completed by the 11th of this month. Now, it may happen before that, but look, knowing with programmers, I'm sort of adding a week rather than taking anything off. So if you have that in mind, it might be something that if we get it before then, it's a bonus. But the bank have got things that they want to do, and the 11th is what they've asked them to have it completed by. So that's what's happening in that part of the world. And the other reason on the 11th as well is because it's been now confirmed. We're just going through the final stages, negotiating how we'll do it. But I'll be taking over Coin Exchange on the 11th of this month. So we'll be running Coin Exchange. Now the bank will still be totally involved with it, because they will manage the asset account, and they will obviously manage because as we pay funds in there, it's got to be managed, and Wells Fargo, a part of that group, to manage that. But as far as all the maintaining of Coin Exchange, the support, everything that goes with it, we'll be looking after that. So I'm getting all of that set up. So I'm hoping to put something major in place, because we've got some plans for Coin Exchange that really will have a lot of people taking notice of what's going on there with it. What's also happened in there is that the investors, there's 91 investors, and you've been hearing us talk about these investors for some time, and there was just different reasons why it didn't eventuate with the investors, but the bank have sent the investors a letter asking them all to, in good faith, to register on Coin Exchange, and we'll be able to talk to these investors, the 91 of them, to advise them on where to go, because with the Chingaling coin, the global exchange will really only manage the Chingaling coin. The Chingaling coin won't go on any other exchange apart from Coin Exchange and obviously Chingaling. So we'll be able to manage Chingaling sales from Coin Exchange, as well as obviously the other crypto that we'll be maintaining on the exchange there. So we're hoping to see quite a considerable turnover in our token from Coin Exchange, and talking to the investors, because if you can appreciate this, that we have got something rather special going on here now. And just let me explain a little bit about the delays and what the delays have meant to us. And this is why we're where we are right today. And you can't, if we took the delays away, we wouldn't have what we've got at the moment. And number one is when Leslie Wolf, who actually started Next Level X out there, and then I became part of, because he had problems with programmers, and I became part of it, setting up the South African group, and I was nominated at that point as Master Distributor, but I also was the financer behind what was going on there, and which was a strange one for some of the other people involved. They didn't know at that point I was financing it. And because of frustration with programmers not being able to get it together there with the payment process and the whole deal, Leslie contacted me and said to me, did I want to buy Next Level Africa? I mean, I was really running it anyway out there, so I asked him to go away and come back to me the next day to make sure that that's what he wanted to do. And certainly came back and said he wanted to go ahead with that. So that's how it was all initiated. And that's how we went to the ownership of Next Level Africa. Now, because of the frustration that's been involved with this exchange, the banks have become frustrated. So it's the bank that have come to me and asked me, did we want to run the exchange? Had things have been running smoothly, we wouldn't have had that. Now, all I'm getting at is that we are looking at this exchange to, look, I'm not trying to put any figure out there that I can't manage, but it's going to be quite considerable, because with our humanitarian project that we've got going, we're allocated, and it'll change yearly, but we've been allocated $100 billion a year. And we are going to be talking to our groups that we have involved with that to ask them to assist and support the hand that's feeding them. In other words, investing in maybe some of our cryptocurrency, maybe taking positions in Next Level Africa, maybe joining us with some of our alliance partners. So we'll be able to talk to them. So if I'm organising a cheque for a humanitarian group for $1 billion, I don't think I'm going to have too much trouble getting them to invest, not donate, invest. Because look at it this way, and I want to mention this on the run too. Whilst you can't see it there, I was told over the last couple of days the NLA coin has gone over the $100. So when they put the asset account together there, you'll see the new value on it is going to be over $100. So it went up about 20. That was up to last month. That went up. So it's gone up $22 last month. So all I'm getting at is that there's going to be quite a bit of activity out there. So having a group investing in the coin and then relisting it back onto the exchange at a higher rate, we're going to have a lot of investment groups that want to capitalize on that. So a group buying the coin at $100 if it were there today, and then relisting all or portion of those coins back on the exchange for $120, $130, and just simply doing that, because that's how the likes of Bitcoin work. There's no, our coin has a use for the coin, and we're finding a use for it. The bank used the jingling in their humanitarian, that's stored value in the humanitarian, and of course the NLA coin is something that we use as stored value for the NLA and other companies coming on as well. That I'll mention one in a moment, but so we have a use for our coin. So with the use for the coin and with the forced purchasing that we'll enforce in there, because our projects, humanitarian projects, people running those, they will listen to us on where we feel that their best investment might be out there, because we're trying to assist them in also raising more money for their particular projects as well that they're doing. So you can see, and this of course will attract a lot more people on there. So anybody that's got coins listed on the exchange, they'll be snapped up very, very quickly. So all I'm getting at is that I, for one, certainly wouldn't be listing coins on there much under the, certainly not under the $100 now, because they will be purchased for much more than that. Because over the next 12 months, I believe that you'll see the NLA coin go to 1,000 or 2,000%. I should imagine you'll see the NLA coin going in excess of $2,000 a coin in the next 12 months. And that's just my assessment of it. I mean, people are allowed to make their own call. You can make your own call if you like. But certainly just on what I know is going to be happening out there, that the coin will be a very, very good investment for a lot of people in this as well. Just to cover BCN at the moment as well. We're not going away from BCN, but on the 1st of February they changed over from Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash. And they've had internal issues with just getting with the mining aspect of it. And so what's happening is, if anyone has read their April updates, because this is now nearly 4 months that they've been trying to get this sorted out, so it's explaining to new people. I don't feel concerned with BCN at all. They're doing their best to do it, but there are things to do with their mining facilities out there. The equipment haven't been sent to them. There's information about it. I think they're doing a bulk payment to members over the next day or so. They've said on the 5th that they'll be paying it, so that's supposed to be going out. And then on the 10th they're going to have it so that we can use multiple coins, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum and Club Coin to pay for your mining shares, and you can then mine in any of those coins, whichever you want to do, get paid for the mining activity from any of that at all, and then convert it over to whatever currency you want. They've got a conversion tool there that you can convert it over. So just now we've got some major promotions about to happen with BCN, but I just want them to, because look, I have enough trouble talking to people about what's going on with NLA out there, and I just don't want to be talking about everything that we're involved with, about that should happen soon, that should happen soon. It's just too frustrating to do that. So anyway, but we'll be back on target. We've got a few people getting ready to sign up into it now. We've got a few groups doing some major things with it, but we're going to be looking at a fairly major promotion with BCN. So right now it's just I'm just wanting them to get caught up with what they're doing their end out there, and I'm sure they do as well. Just as another area out there, we're talking about alliance partners. Members may be aware that I made mention of that I was asked to be a master distributor for a company that have been trying to get their system off the ground, and they're now in the process of testing. They've got everything ready to go. They're testing it. They've been in touch with me again, and the reason that I took on the role as master distributor for it is because they're using the NLA coin as a payment structure. So I'll be working with their programming group to get the coin initiated in there, and some of you are aware of this group. It's UPB Plus, and but the owner of the company has confirmed that they're right to go. They're just doing the final checking with the program now, and they should be ready to go there with it. So being master distributor for that particular group doesn't take my focus away from our core business of Next Level Africa, but it just becomes part of another item out there, because that's the reason I went with BCN, is to get into a group, because they do have, according to them, they speak of having 1 million subscribers, and they're using their mining facilities. So it was getting these people in a position where they could have a look at the NLA component with our coin, and certainly we'll be able to boast when activity really starts to happen in the exchange. So that's what's happening there. The other side of it is too that yesterday I had a meeting with a group that have a fairly sophisticated payment processor. It's not quite ready yet. They've been working on it now for some time. But you know, most of it's ready. It's just the KYC out there, so we'll be able to do payments member to member, and it's also, they've got it worked into a massive rewards program. They've got a couple of groups in the UK. I'm not looking at their names, but anyone from the UK would know them, but they're retail groups, food stores, I think, the largest in the UK. They're part of it as well. They've got Amazon involved with it, and they've got a lot of banking groups involved with it. They'll deal in 130 different currencies, including some cryptos out there as well that people can use as payment. So it's a fairly, and of course the costing is extremely reasonable on the costing of it. So I'll go further into that as we go, but it's looking promising. So I deal directly with the owner, and they are looking to have 1 billion people on board using this system over the next 2 to 3 years. They already have 120,000 people registered on it. So but once again, it can't be used yet until the KYC component is sorted out. And look, it's aligning ourselves with some of these companies as well, because understand this, that I'm able to talk to them about what we're doing as well, and I'm sure that if we can make a fit on what we're doing there, I'm sure that they'll certainly look at that. So look, I've covered what I know at this stage out there, and I'm trying not to play any guessing games with where we're at, and hopefully that you do understand there's been a challenge with the programming people to do with these security certificates, and they wanted to make sure it was right. There was a massive crash. There was a number of things that happened in the exchanges, and it's something that they're getting on top of now. So hopefully that with the UK crew settling into LA, we hope to have a result on that. I'll get, if I can, a daily update on it to see where we're at with it, and hopefully we can make some announcements. I don't know whether we'll be making the announcement or we'll just absolutely see it running, whichever the case is, but we're in talks with them on the taking over the running of coin exchange. So sticking with our core business, because look, over the last couple of weeks, and what I'm trying to balance out there as well, as members know, that the dollar coin in NLA will be coming to a halt out there, and I want to make sure that the NLA members and their friends and some of their guests have access to being able to be part of the dollar coin and putting this through the system before we have to stop it completely out there, and once it stops, and everything will happen through the exchange. We do have, because when I mentioned before about our investor groups, I call them investor groups, I mean they're humanitarian groups that we want to turn them into investor groups back through things that we're doing. They'll be guided by where we feel is the best placement of their investment dollars, and some of them will be looking to take quite a few accounts in Next Level Africa when that happens out there. One in particular, they're looking after 19 million children worldwide. Well, it's pretty obvious that they could take out an NLA account for each and every one of those children to benefit their plight, to get a humanitarian crowdfunding attached to that person, or just a personal attached to that person. So we do have a massive amount that will want to become part of not only Next Level Africa, but some of our other alliance partners in the way of BCN, in the way of UPB, and of course the payment processor, because if we linked into rewards program as well, people who join it become part of the ecosystem where they share in the rewards, and so there's they've got the program sorted out so that there's a share going around to the entire ecosystem within the payment rewards system out there, and so we can see where there's going to be mutual benefit from directing people into certain places. So in saying that, is that we started off a couple of weeks ago there by offering the opportunity for NLA members and their guests out there to be able to register an interest if they wanted to look at taking 50 accounts with Next Level Africa. We do it through a CSV file because we don't want to be manually loading these in. And since that, on the figures that we've got there, it's probably about $2.5 million worth of coins that have now become available within the matrix. And incidentally, speaking about the matrix, 2 days ago I sent the line 5 to our programmers. I signed off on it. So line 5 is propagating at the moment, and it should, I should imagine we'll see it there at any time now. And I will be getting the programmers to load a lot of the projects into the systems there, and we'll go through them and see which are current, which ones are going to be taken out of there as well. So there's a lot happening as we go. But just to go over with the promo for NLA, because what happens is that, look, members within the system, they're now, because you can imagine these coins as they find their way up the matrix and people upgrade to higher packages, that benefits everybody in the system with $2 million worth of coins that have gone, that will go back into the system there. It's just simply going back into the members of Next Level Africa. So the major announcement, as I mentioned before, is that no more dollar coins. The dollar coin, you know, is something that we've been running for people to use to get their accounts sorted out. So the dollar coin will be something that will finish, and that will finish by the end of June. Now, when I say finish by the end of June, I haven't set an official date on it, but it's really about where we're at by then, and I want to make sure that we have you know, ample notice for people out there, so that, you know, once this, it'll be forgotten about, and all we'll talk about then, because any coins being purchased will be purchased from the exchange or from member to member, and they'll be certainly whatever the value is that being sought after. And I should imagine that by the end of June you'll be seeing the NLA coin. It'll probably be over the $200 mark. Because of this short week as well, I'm talking to people. Some of this I haven't had time to read what I put together out there, so maybe it might not be totally correct, but it's been on the run trying to get so much sorted out with a short week. So we're making this special offer to our members and guests. So to purchase 50 plus positions in Next Level Africa at $20 US for each position. And the reason it's $20 is because they do charge us a fee to load their CSV file in, and it's just got to be compiled by them. So that's what that is out there. So that just represents the position in there. We will need a spreadsheet and it can be loaded in by our programmer, and they will fall on line 9. The reason we are doing this is to secure the dollar coin for the upgrade, because, as I said, this could be the last time you see the dollar coin, the last opportunity that anyone will have to participate in the dollar coin. Now, partial positions in Next Level Africa. So sending an expression of interest, we've decided to include as many people as we can, because there is a time and a cost to doing this, and I want to take this opportunity to just, well, let people know how blessed we are to have the admin team that we have. Angelina has been a blessing to work with, and I think she's coming out on her own, both with Karen and Julie as well, and these ladies are extremely passionate about what they do. You know, if it were a sporting game out there, I coached soccer for some years, so I became highly involved with soccer. But you would get a player that simply went looking for work out there. Some players can hold positions, and some you just got to give them the rights to rove all over the place. Well, I would put Angelina in that category. she's that roving player. She goes out looking for work and certainly takes it on board and gets the job done. So I do want to thank Angelina again for the dedication on what's going on with this. But sending an expression of interest for the partial positions, 10 plus, we will link the members together and submit the one CSV file. Now the cost on this would be $22 per position, because there is an additional cost to managing it and compiling it together. So all I'm getting at is that's what we're looking at, and when you consider that of what benefit this will do to the entire community, and of course getting in a position where you're getting ready to receive some fairly substantial payments in this is going to be beneficial to a lot of people to get started with it. So that's what we've decided to do to help out with the because there's been a lot of interest in the additional positions in NLA. Now you can send all expressions of interest to the support at smada.world. That's where we've got so therefore we you know, can manage it from there and compiling it together so that so we have it ready to go, and we'll certainly be able to support as much as we can what's going on there. Now, just going over when we first started talking about our coin out there, I mean, I'm just going over the couple of increases that we've had, and as you can see, back on the 23rd of the 3rd, our coin was valued at $62 by the market maker. On the 10th of the 4th, it was valued at $80.07. I can't give you the exact figure. They haven't given me that because I don't know if the market makers really set the exact figure. He may have, but they tell me it's over the $100 mark. So exactly what that is, I don't know, because as you do know, it goes up approximately every 2 weeks. So that's where we're at the moment, and I should imagine that you'll see some very, very hefty increases in the NLA coin. Okay, look, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this back over to Angelina just to compile anything there that she may have, and also I'll open it up for Angelina to announce that we can do the Q&A if I can answer any questions. Remember this, that when I do these recordings, we do have spies all over the place, and a lot of people try to catch me out, and usually within it seems to be minutes after I finish a webinar, a recorded version of the webinar is sitting on the desk of the project manager from the bank. So you can appreciate this, that because I know this will go almost anywhere on what I've just told you now in relation to the investors, in relation to what's happening with the you know, the programming teams that have gone to LA and just things that are happening out there in general, and us taking over the exchange. You can imagine that if this were not correct, I would be shot immediately after this, and there's no way in the world that I would leave myself open to, you know, to have this happen out there. But by the same token, I've kept a little bit back because I can't release everything out there, and so whatever questions I can answer, I will, but just bearing in mind that I'm on non-disclosure with those. I've always said that they refer to me as that to get information out there are 3 ways to get information out there, is to telegraph, telephone and tell Noel, because I'm very keen and want to tell the members that have been so patiently waiting on for this to happen. We want to come in with good positive news out there. So I tend to sometimes let a little bit too much out. It was only just last night that I decided to release about the investors and about some of the things happening on the exchange. That's why it's a day-to-day thing, and you know, something else could happen, change this afternoon out there. So, all right. Well, with that, I'll hand this back over to Angelina, and I do want to thank everybody for being on the webinar. And if I can answer any questions, I certainly will. Thank you.
It is really a pleasure to be working with you with all of these things that we've been doing over the last 4 years, and in the future looks extremely bright. So thank you for providing your time with us again, Noel, because it is quite early. For all of our friends here in Australia, we appreciate you attending. And we appreciate everyone, no matter if you're up early or up late. It really means a lot to us to have you come out live and hear what is being presented, rather than just, you know, saying, oh, well, I'll just wait for the recording. It means a lot to see you here in the room with us. So I would like to ask if anyone has any questions, please post them in the chat, and we will, as Noel said, take questions and answer them to the best of our ability. And you'll see that I did post in the chat also the email to send any expression of interest. Then I'll be able to answer your questions once I get the email or your intention. So please go ahead now and yes, thank you. That's great, Marlene. So Noel, here is our first question from Marlene. I'll read it out to you and hand the mic back. Did you say line 5 on the matrix is filled or being filled? I have a line 5 account but have not heard anything as yet. I'll let Noel fill you in on the details on the answer to that, Marlene. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Angelina. Marlene, look, when you say line 5 being filled, line 5 is filled. I mean, that's all of the lines are filled. We're not moving anybody out there, that people that don't want to continue. I'm going to add this in because it's really where it's come from. We have a fairly large humanitarian group coming in that I'd kept a number of positions on line 5 that I wanted to make sure they went to the right people, and one of them on line 5 I'd actually paid a member some time ago. Now I won't mention the member's name, but it's noted that there are a number of people who do know about it. I paid them $1,000 for that position, and I donated that to one of our humanitarian projects that will be coming in there on line 5. They'll be able to put all their projects up onto that as well, because I want to make sure that the humanitarian projects that we have in Next Level Africa are really something special out there that we can that we can boast about being able to help these people as well. And so there we are with it. So I hope that's answered your question there then, Arlene, about we haven't sent emails out yet, it's not loaded in yet. So once the program is loaded in, we'll then know it's there. Jeff's asking here, are you still considering setting up a relationship with a gold bullion supplier, enabling direct purchase using NLA coin? Most certainly, yes. This is one of our main players who is running a major humanitarian project. So This particular group there, just to add it in, have confirmed that they're taking 10,000 positions in next level Africa. So I would say we've got a very good relationship with what goes on there. So anyway, but we are certainly doing that. James, sorry I missed the first 15 minutes of the webinar. Looking to see progress on line 5. Yeah, it's I won't go over what's happened in the last 15 minutes there, but you'll get a copy of the webinar, and line 5 is now with the programmers here, James, and I've signed off on it, so that's all being loaded in, and so we'll certainly have that ready to go. I'll be receiving line 6 very shortly, and we'll be going over that. So it shouldn't be too much longer before we're looking at a serious amount of activity going on in next level Africa, and hopefully we can all sit back and say, right, we watch this grow. A lot of people, if you try to explain the 4 years that we've watched this grow from a seed to where it is now, and what is about to come, it's, well, I just have absolutely no idea, but we are looking as a company in the next 12 months to probably turn over in excess of $250 billion in what we'll do, and be able to help a lot of humanitarian out there. We'll be able to change many lives on this. You can imagine if our coin goes to $2,000 a coin, and people have accumulated these coins at $1 a coin. You can imagine where that's going to be. So we'll just see what happens as we go. Okay, so some of us have messed up on the 2FA to log into the exchanges. We were told these will be sorted out when they finally open. Any update for us on that? I can't give you an update on that there, Caleb, because we are talking with them about it. There's some that are telling me it can, some telling me that it can't. So, you know, we'll cover that very, very shortly, because we'll be looking at covering every aspect of, because we'll be maintaining and we'll be doing all support in coin exchange, so we want to make sure that we've got it all out there. I'll be nominating a support team because we want 24/7 support on there. James, will withdrawal of Dutch or USD from the CXB automatic, or will we have to have a team of people dealing with it? Look, once it's going from there, the bank manages that. Remember this, that the money comes from the asset account. The bank manages the asset account. So when people request withdrawal, that will come from the banking will manage that. So whatever happens from that, it'll be your nominated account, and the way it'll go. We are looking at putting a debit card system in there, so that will be something we'll most definitely look at. But the banks will look after. We don't actually hold anyone's money. Next Level Africa, we don't hold anyone's money, so no one's got to be worried that we're going to take off with the money. The banks are maintaining that, so we are just there, and that's how I prefer it, to be honest with you, because after 30 years in networking, one of the major things that happens out there, we wake up one morning and the company has decided, well, thanks for coming and taking off with our money. Well, I want members to understand we don't hold anyone's money. There's nothing for us to take off with. So all I'm saying is that the banks look after all of that, and that puts us all in a good place for that as well. Ray Parsons, with the expressions of interest of positions, say 10 positions, does each position need a project, or do any NLA coins come with those positions? Thanks in advance. there's no additional NLA coins with them, Ray. They're just, you know, they're getting, because it's placement. What you're going to find is that once we turn things off, everything happens through the exchange. By then we'll be handing out our humanitarian funds as well. That could happen at any time. From that, there's going to be some major activity with these groups taking positions in Next Level Africa. So being there in the matrix is going to be, as I mentioned before, I've got one group that could comfortably take 19 million positions in there, and they will be directed, you know, without sounding like I've got total control on this, but people will be directed on where I suggest that they invest their money. We're just advising them, and once they see that there's a return on what they're doing, they may want to do it again. If you had $50 million and you bought $50 million worth of NLA coin, and in a space of a week or two, that came back at $60 or $70 million, wouldn't you want to do that again? So anyway, but that's what it is there, right? It's all about securing the position in the matrix, because I've had a lot of people wanting to join, and we don't want to be, because we've got it closed at the moment. You can't just sign up, and so this is the only way we can do it, and doing it in groups like this, it just saves us from managing. We'd have to charge double if we were to manually handle each and every one of them. All right, look, I think that we may have covered most of the things there now, and we've been going for 45 minutes there. Really, I'm just talking about updates. Razor, can we still buy NLA coins for $1? Just to make sure we're clear on that, people aren't actually buying to sell the coins for $1. You're using the coins for upgrade. So if you're going to upgrade to buy a position in Next Level Africa, which is $15, you would get 15 coins. So yes, $1, but that's for upgrading. The manual or automatic upgrading there, James, we need to look at that again. We had issues with it, with the automatic system going in place. I need to look at it again, because there were people that were upgraded and didn't want to upgrade, so we had issues with it. So right now it's just a process of keeping an eye on it. When you start to get people underneath you, you'll need to upgrade to the next package out there, and so the upgrading process is a manual thing by the members. Okay, look, I think that we may have covered all the questions, and I think on the explanation out there's probably, look, I'm sure people are going to get off this call and think, what did I just hear? I think you'll be probably happy to hear the recording on what I've just said, because as I said, it certainly takes us into a you know, our own unique business out there that just absolutely nobody could duplicate what we've got going, how it's built over the last few years. So we certainly looking at some wonderful things that are about to happen for our friends in the humanitarian groups, our charities, our just people trying to raise money out there. So where we are with it. Look, with that, I'll now turn this back over to Angelina to close it off. I do want to thank everybody for taking the time to be on the webinar, and I hope the information there is, you know, I try to do this so I don't want to sound like we're hyping things up, I want to try and give it to you as I understand it, and also making sure you do we're dealing with the unknown out there in the way of the programming world. So I think mechanics, car salesmen, second-hand car salesmen, they love programmers. Absolutely, you wouldn't think so. I didn't, but what I realized is that the reason they love them so much is that people used to think that the second-hand car salesman was the lowest individual on the planet. Now, programmers seem to have taken that role. So all I'm getting at is that they can lead you along there. You're in their hands, and whatever they say, you've got to accept it. And time delay, but the bank, I mean, look at the money that the bank have got out there, and they're dealing with delays and stuff. But in saying that, we finished up owning CEX, so that's a good thing for our community. All right, look, I'm handing this back to Angelina before I get rambling on again, and because it can happen that way with me, but I am really excited. It's been a very productive, particularly the last week, and I'm sure we're in for good times coming up. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll hand this back to Angelina to close up.
With this program. What can I say? But yes, it's been a really, really intense, interesting week. Let's put it that way. I would kindly ask people, though, to please don't post in private or in the rooms. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? You know, have the exchange opened? You know, what do we know? Because seriously, we will post what we know. And if somebody sees it first, hey, great, post it in the room, and we'll update you as soon as we can as far as, you know, what we know if you see it up first. But other than that, just stay tuned to the notes that we will post in the rooms. If we don't see anything, it means there's nothing to say yet. Thank you so much for standing with us, standing by us, and working together with us. We look forward to bringing you new updates as we go and seeing you next week on the webinar. This webinar has been recorded and should be available within the next 24 to 48 hours or so, and we'll post it in the rooms. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy your day and your evening. Bye for now.